candidate to any office. Now, in the 11th Parliament that I served with the Honorable nominee here, while he was serving as MP for Igembe South, the nominee presented a petition to members of Parliament to sign for him so that he could remove the then CS for devolution on the scandal that was rocking this country of about 1.9 billion of NYS. And members of Parliament did sign that petition. Mr. Speaker, I was one of them because he convinced me, and there were really weighty issues. But on the day that this petition was to be read on the floor of the House, the nominee did not show up, and did not show up for quite a while after that. And when he resurfaced, that issue seemed to have been put under the carpet. Maybe because we do not want a CS that might also abandon farmers. Maybe he can tell us why he abandoned members of Parliament.
Those that were in that Parliament, when all this happened, I came to the chamber and rose on a point of order under personal statements. And I documented every step that took place, what went on, who called who, where that letter was signed from, and that matter isn't. Unless if it's, if you allow, Mr. Speaker, I can mention. You know, Mr. Speaker, this country, you allow me to explain the circumstances.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, for those that have never known, you see, when a gun is put on your head, and you understand when you have a CEO who is almost a terrorist, then there are many people that cannot withstand the pressure, the intimidation, and the threats that exist. I can tell you the letter to withdraw was signed.
To withdraw the motion?
Yes. Was drafted by one J. Linturi. The letter I was asked to sign, Njomo called, Speaker Linturi was called from somewhere. It was along, I think in Kiliman, was told, go back to the house, there is a letter that's is being brought to withdraw that motion. Jomo Gishaka, past 8 o'clock, delivered the letter to the then Speaker, J. Linturi. Those are the circumstances that I found myself in, and you know.
You signed the letter?
Mr. Speaker, yes. Yes. Yes, that's it. And the President was there then. So, Mr. Speaker, that is the situation, that is the condition. And that is from that time when my relationship and him went sour. Because that thing has really tormented me. I've spoken about it, but members continue asking. They may not have known, just like all these others were all organized and planned by his agencies. And those systems that are functional.
Thank you, Chair. I didn't want to disturb. I wanted to wait for him to finish, but when Wanonyonyi did, I thought maybe at this point I need to clarify that on the question I had asked, and this has to go on record, Chair, that on the day that this petition was to be presented to Parliament, it was not withdrawn, Mr. Speaker. It was on the order paper, but what happened is that the nominee did not show up. So that is a report that was in the House. That is what is unanswered. It was called out, and he wasn't there to move it. So I wanted that to be clear so that, for the record. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Speaker, I am not trying to defend myself, but he knows at what time, in most cases, the order papers are out. I've seen the Speaker was called very late in the night, and the letter was taken to him. So I was not in charge of the Secretariat of Parliament or how that got it there. But that is the truth, and I can always also go back to check the answer what I recorded that particular time. Speaker Murugara.
Yes, Chair.
Honorable Chair, does that insinuate that the nominee is weak and cannot withstand political pressure?
Chair Linturi can call him, sir.
Not by
Chair,
Mr. Speaker.
maybe Chair, not to interrupt Linturi, but may I also make disclosure that it is, in actual fact, myself who got the Honorable Linturi to Jacaranda Hotel, if he remembers. And the circumstances then, if you know the kind of president we were dealing with, when Linturi tells you when you have a gun over your head, you really have no choices to make. And it is indeed true that letter was typed by J. Linturi in the business center of Jacaranda Hotel. And I was then the vice chair of the Public Investments Committee, and I was directed by none other than President Uhuru Kenyatta to ship the Honorable Linturi out of this country in a trip that we are going to Turkey that weekend.
So you connived in to undermine Linturi's integrity.
We